am I live or am I live? It says go live. Okay. Golly, I've been talking all this time and it said I was live, but apparently I wasn't. So go figure. So I guess I have to repeat everything again. You know, one of these days when I figure this stuff all out, I'm going to be really dangerous. So this is our live hang number 4, and this is your buddy Dave over at MarsX3D. And we've got all kinds of things. I have figured out how to share images. I'm so proud of myself. At my age, I'm lucky to remember how to turn on the computer. But I do have a couple of images to share with you tonight. So if you haven't already heard it, blessings and greetings to Julia Golly. So glad to have you on board with us, Jules. And John Beck. And it says, yeah, I am live. Good. And Earl's here. Hey, Earl. How are you, brother? Great to see you. And Don showed up. And Stylish Toke. Yeah, and the reason I'll tell you the reason I'm wearing this tonight. It's well, I don't want to get too personal here, but basically my head looks like the surface of the moon. It's badly cratered. Basically, it looks like pizza because I'm undergoing a treatment for melanoma, and everything's fine. There are no problems. Everything's in check, but they have to burn off all my skin to get at the underlying stuff, and then the skin will grow back. But until that time, I am Mr. Pizza Face, and rather than subject you to that nightmarish reality, I thought I'd just wear a stocking cap. You know what? My wife said, oh, don't worry, honey. I'll put some makeup on you, and it'll be fine. And no, actually, it wasn't. When she took the powder to me and all that, it felt like she was plunging ice picks into my skull. And I said, you know, I don't really think this is going to work, but thank you for the thought. She's a good gal to put up with me. So I ran downstairs, and actually it is really cold here. Yesterday, 50 degrees. This morning, 1 degree. Oh, golly, New England, I'll tell you. But, oh, Alfie's here. Alfie Joe Bob. What a great name. You know, I lived, oh, golly, how long did I live down south? I lived in Arab, Alabama. And you may say, Arab, Alabama, what a small town. And someone in the audience will say, how small was it, Dave? And I say, well, to give you an idea, the zip code was EIEIO. Very small town in the mountains of Alabama, about 35 miles south of Huntsville, and about 150 years back in time. But those are stories for another time. And yeah, Julia's saying I can pull a bank job after my show. You're dressed for it. No, I'm just trying to spare you all the cosmetic pain of seeing what's underneath this hat. It doesn't hurt, and everything's good. There are no problems, but it is a bit of a mess while they clean it up, and it will be that way for probably another week to 10 days, and then I'll heal up, and it'll be just fine. So not a problem. So you know what? Oh, thank you, John. Thank you. I do appreciate prayers. I'm a praying man. I believe in prayers. Therapy at a distance. Therapeutic thought. There's been so many experiments done with therapeutic thought and directed thought. Secret Life of Plants details some of it, but there have been many, many peer-reviewed studies on it subsequent to the publication of that book. And I look like a sailor. Arr, mighty. My oldest son, Mark, who is a killer lead guitarist and vocalist in rock bands down in Texas. He has a Green Day a tribute band, which is #1 Green Day band in Texas. And he also has a a live duo that he does, acoustic, called Our Pirates. And the man is a pirate. He really and truly is a pirate. But, so, thank you, Julia. You look marvelous. Don't go changing. Anyway, yeah, Arab is a small town. And so there were a lot of people named Jimmy Bob and Terry Jim and, you know, all that Southern thing. And I get it. I kind of like it. My name doesn't fit into that bag, but I admire the people who do. And before we get into images, I'll tell you a quick story. I had been there about a week, moved into Arab, Alabama, and I needed a particular kind of nail with a rubber grommet under the head for sealing a tin roof when you punch a hole through it. And I just couldn't find it. Hey, Ricardo, welcome aboard. And Six is here, too. Hey, good to see you, brother. Give me an eye patch for Halloween. You know, that might be a good idea. I've no telling what kind of saucy pirate I might turn into. Anyway, I couldn't find this nail. I couldn't find it anywhere. So I walked up to the counter, and there was a Southern lady there behind the counter, and I asked her, I'm looking for this kind of nail. I just can't find it. Do you have something like that? And she said, you're not from here, are you? And I said, no, I just moved here, actually. And she said, well, who your kin? She wanted to know who I was related to. So I told her, well, I'd married into the Dovers and the Carries and the thises and the that's and the Mapes and the Kitchens. And she listened for a while, and then she put her hands on her hip and nodded her head and said, okay, can I help you? I said, good heavens, where have I moved to? What am I doing here? And Lee says his nickname was Billy Bob back in your biker days. Oh, man, Lee, I just said goodbye to my biker days. But, you know, I've had a good run. I went 45 years with only 3 laydowns and no accidents. And had an absolute ball. I've had Harleys. I've had custom wings. And my last bike was a Honda Valkyrie. And boy, did that thing smoke. I'll tell you what, it really moved. And I look like Sean Connery. Well, I wish I had his money and his good looks. Man, what an amazing dude he was. And anyway, before we had any real good downloads from Percy, I went ahead and I grabbed a shot from the NASA site. And now for those of you who do X3D, this is an X3D image coming up of the drogue chute deployed with the look back cam, looking back. And to my knowledge, this is the first 3D image from Percy. And if you go into X3D mode, you can see that there it is. There it is. It's an amazing thing to be able to see, and I'm really hopeful that we're going to have. Uh-oh, I'm gone. Where did I go? Oh goodness. You know, I thought I had this stuff figured out, but while we're at it, what the heck? I'll put up. This is the first X3D image from the Z-cams on Percy. For those of you who do X3D, you can see that it's a pretty good picture. It's somewhat better than the ones that we get from Curiosity. Still not terrific. And some of those objects in there are a bit anomalous. But no problem. Let's see if I can get myself back online here while you're looking at this picture. And I have no idea how to get back. Blue sky. That's right. We've been telling them that the sky is blue for a long, long time, for years, as a matter of fact. And my gosh, they finally admitted it and started saying, yeah, the sky is blue. Now, here's the trick, folks. You can't see me right now. And thank you, Six, if you do a pipe. But it is a blue sky, and that is for sure. And I wish Chris or Jimmy were here to tell me how to get my my image back. And but I'm not having a whole lot of luck with that, am I? Well, you're going to just be looking at Mars turning around for a while as I start to figure this out. Well, the advantage of 3D, let me answer that question for Julia. 3D eliminates the possibility of, mostly eliminates the possibility of pareidolia. When you're looking at a non-fractal, and by non-fractal, I mean an object that has the mathematics of intelligent agency. So when you're looking at a non-fractal anomaly in 3D, well, it's right in front of your face. You could literally, if you were present, could walk over and pick it up. And so the reality of it is much more profound. And let me see if I can get rid of this. No, that's not. I'm trying to figure out how to get myself back on the camera. And that's a little bit embarrassing. Oh, I know. Here. Ta-da! And look, here comes Dave. Ha ha ha! I figured it out. I'll tell you. 78 degrees, Julia. Okay, there's a word that, a technical phrase for people who do weather one-upmanship. And that phrase, that technical phrase is bite me. I love Arizona. It's so beautiful out there. It's always warm and beautiful and sunny. And, oh, God, I remember one time in Phoenix, I was going to the store, and it was summer. It was literally a blast furnace. And I got out of my car, and I started sinking into the asphalt. And I thought, oh, Lordy, it's hot here. This is unbelievable. But I do love Arizona big time. Doc Chuck. Hi, Doc Chuck. Yeah, and it does help credibility, non-fractal geometry. Here's the thing, folks. If you see, if you're on the lake in a canoe and you see the waves in the lake and you look at the mountains and the forest and the clouds and all the things in nature are fractal. Okay, those are fractions divided into fractions. And that's why when we do CGI, texture mapping, that you can generate such realistic environments because it's the same mathematics. But if you're traveling along the lake in your canoe and you see a log cabin on the shoreline, well, that's you immediately know that that's man-made or woman-made, as the case may be. It has the mathematics of intelligent agency, whole numbers divided into or divided by fractions, not fractions divided by fractions. And so the non-fractal geometry is the basis for surveillance look-down technology invented by Dr. Mark Carlato, which reveals intelligently made items originally developed to find gun emplacements, missile emplacements, that type of thing through the camouflage netting and other means. The non-fractal math always gave it away. Well, guess what? When they turned the look-down technology onto Mars, the whole place lit up. Mars is covered with non-fractal geometry, archaeology, artifacts, buildings, you name it. It's all out there. So anyway, let me try to catch up. Phil Cox is here. Oh, nice to see you, Phil, with Jessica and Kelsey. Super nice of you to show up. Phil does a great thing sending in some terrific anomalies to me every now and then. I'd rather have one or two good ones every 6 months than a whole bunch of marginal stuff every other day. But that said, I love getting anomalies from you all. So I'm talking too much here. Let's see. I showed you the first stereo image from the Z-cams. I showed you the look back on the shoot. And let's see. Oh, okay. Now, here's a flat. And this isn't X3D, but this was one of the first images taken by the, I believe, yeah, the nav cam. That's the camera they use to steer the rover. But look at that inside the yellow box. That is a non-fractal item. It looks like a manufactured plate with knobs and little things on it, nicely radiused corners, and the one to the left of it has square corners and stuff on top. Some of those might be rocks. But the fact of the matter is that is an intelligently made little piece of something. So let me get my head back from being chopped off here. It is so hard to get these cameras adjusted just so. Some of the other guys, they really have that figured out. And Ricardo, yeah, look for the rectilinear geometry, according to Ricardo and to Richard C. Hoagland. And he was referring, of course, to non-fractal angles. Now, we do have non-fractal angles in nature. We have the cubical form is found all over the mineral kingdom. And it's also, we have octahedrons, and we have diamond shapes, and we have a number of, and spheres and things of that nature. But when it's seen in context, within geological context, and you know that it's a mineral. But when you see a brick that's fallen out of a brick wall right in back of it, you need to look at that context and classify it correctly. Let's see. Oh man, 6, you've got a serious monitor there. Rub it in, dude. You know, I only got 27 inches. Here we are comparing monitor size. Okay, here's another image for you guys. And this is also from the mast cam. And it's one I called Spinner. And if you can see I don't know if you can see my cursor in the broadcast or not. But see inside that green circle? And that's as close as I could get before it just turned into garbage. But look at that little thing. Does that look natural to you? It certainly doesn't to me. And of course we have people that say, oh, well, that fell off the rover. Please, please. You know, Curiosity, all the years it's been on, and all the times people have said, well, that fell off of Curiosity. Well, that thing should be down to bare bones by now then, with all the hardware that's fallen off of that. And anyway, there it is, the Spinner. And I also have some other pictures, as long as people are starting to show. You know, I'm so grateful you guys are showing up. Really. I mean, it'd be terrible to be doing this all by myself. But the cool thing about this channel that I really like, it's got really high quality subs. You guys know your stuff. You've got that inquiring mind. You're willing to look at evidence, and you be the judge. You can make up your own mind about it. And I like that a lot about you. And by far the majority of you have learned to do X3D viewing. And no small feat in and of itself. Here's another one coming up. And yeah, a lot of times We're hearing things like a goalie mask and the skull. And okay, and Thomas is here. Hi, Thomas. Welcome aboard, my friend. And here's one of the first images. Now, Thomas Mikey Schroeder Jensen, who is working with Billy Carson now, he pointed this out right off the bat. That was on the horizon at the time, and it does display some right angles. Now, that'll turn out probably as we get closer to be a cliff or something else that's just natural in nature. But at this distance, it does give the appearance of being a wall. And who knows? But now, over in the left-hand corner, and you can see that weird little thing with suckers on it. And who knows? Maybe that's the same thing that was in the other picture, just a different angle on it. But you know, that really doesn't look natural to me. I don't know. What do you think? So, golly, that's all the pictures I have for you tonight. But, you know, eventually I'm going to learn how to do a live screen where I can walk you through things and kind of like Chris does. I don't want to be another Chris Maroney. He does it so good. He's the first and only. But I'm the first and only D.W. Gannett. But y'all can call me Dave. That was my working name for a long, long time. And it just keeps people from getting too familiar too quick when you're on stage, as I was for quite some time. Yeah, 6 indicates it was not natural. And no, I don't believe it is. Here's something, let me see if I can find. Ventifact. Ah, here it is. Now, you may have heard the term ventifact. And that's just a fancy $10 word for something that's been carved by wind and sand. A ventifact. Venta is Latin for wind, and fact is like artifact. So a ventifact is something carved by the wind. And we have to be aware, as we do anomaly hunting on Mars, that wind and that sand, even though the atmosphere is quite thin, can work some pretty amazing stuff. And you don't want to be too quick to jump to a conclusion on something. Take a look at this. This is a ventifact. Now, I would be proud to carve that out and sell it at an art gallery. I mean, look how beautiful those curves are and how even everything is. I think that's really impressive, but it's just a ventifact. And Doc, thank you for your nice work. Nice words, you know. He says, I love your work. I absolutely believe very soon in our lifetimes, by God's grace, people's reality will be shattered on earth when the truth comes out. Yes, you're absolutely correct, which is why we're going through the process of slow disclosure. The live video feeds from the Navy of the 3 different Tic-Tac type UFOs, gun camera feeds, and them admitting on air, this is not from our Earth, we don't know what this is. And then recently the release of the TR-3B anti-gravity craft patents to the public. And that tells me just one thing, and that is that they have stuff that's way more advanced than the TR-3B. My understanding is that McDonnell Douglas came up with that back in the 80s, maybe even the late 70s. So that's old hardware by now. And it's just not, it's so ancient and obsolete that they can go ahead and declassify the, the patents on it. Anyway, you got a good look at a ventifact there. And let me see. Read a few things here. Yeah, we've got some changes coming. Oh, you're going to get a new TV6? How nice. Wow, use a 51-inch for a monitor. Wouldn't that be fabulous? I know I've gotten really spoiled by the iMac 27 to have that much room to work with when I'm going in at high mag on some of these images is really a treat. I can really see the detail, and that's important because I don't want to be fooled. You know, I almost got fooled a couple of weeks ago by an AI picture, but not so much now. And yeah, just reading a few of your comments here. You guys are cool. You have so many interesting comments and so many interesting things going on. Some real high quality people out there. And I would really love to see all of you, according to your own desires, get involved in anomaly work. It's one of those things for some people, like me, you get into it and you get sucked in. You've heard me say before that I got into this to debunk it. I figured with my skill set and background, it'd be a matter of a couple minutes. And of course, I immediately found anomalies and I was blown away. And I said, my gosh, if I'm seeing this from orbit, from the MRO, what's on the ground? So that's how I got sucked into this thing. And it's been a never-ending true life science fiction story, combination detective story ever since that time. PC in the living room. I'd like to do that. I don't think She Who Must Be Obeyed would permit that, but it's okay. I've got a great little place to work up in the treehouse, and it's wonderful. Lots of sunshine and trees in the summer, and I'm alone out in the woods, and it's quiet. It's great. InfoWars, WikiLeaks. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for stopping by. And Lee Herring, yeah. You know, you're right. You wish you had more time to do the anomaly hunting. I do too. You know, when my colleagues come up with a good find, I feel honor bound to show it to you and to do the 3D work on it. And I still get in a couple hours at least of anomaly hunting every week, and you'll notice that usually half or more of the anomalies in any given episode are ones that I've found. But sometimes there are episodes where I haven't found any of them. Not too often, but it happens. But there's so much good stuff out there, and I'm so turned on by what my colleagues are doing around the world. Crazy A, how are you, brother? Anomalies on Mars, very important to figure out. We know they're hiding everything. Not quite everything. I think there's some whistleblowers inside of NASA, JPL, Caltech, who are letting things slip through because we're finding more and more things that are actually close to the camera. Now, I know some anomalists say that up to 85% of any given image is fake. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case. However, that said, there's so much stuff in these images that if you take the time to go look, you're bound to find something. I know when I'm looking, I'll go to one of Neil Spence's or Neville Thompson's gigapans or gigamacros. I'll blow it all the way up and I'll do an inch by inch search. It'll take me an hour and a half to get through an image. But I always like going on the a site where a picture where they've already found a bunch of anomalies. And every now and then I'll just do a complete grid search. And I'll always come up with 2 or 3 more that everybody missed. But on the same token, I miss things too, all the time. So let me see. I'm going to put up the X3D again of the look back camera. as I read some of these notes. And Thomas Mihalos says, yeah, those images from Mars look like the remnants from a battlefield of long ago. And yeah, there was one incredible battle there that wiped out the entire planet. And Phil Cox says he's posted 3 Mars anomaly videos on his channel, but it's mostly of the moon and planets filmed through my 52 Celestron. Oh, wow, how nice. Celestron telescope. Phil, send me the link for your channel. I don't mind looking at that. And I need to catch up on everything. Let me see what everyone's saying. Oh, my. Yeah, I think you're right. And we have Two Worlds Medical Doctor with us tonight. I'm honored by your presence, sir. Thank you very much for showing up tonight. A busy man out doing good on the far places of the world and locally. So I appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much for all your encouraging words. And Julia is mentioning, who's, by the way, editor-in-chief of sarahmichelle.org. You need to check it out. She says she's approached endless mainstream publications with some of the work and finds, and seldom do they disagree with what I've found, but they won't publish them, will they? Because it doesn't fit our elitist overlords' agendas. Eventually, some of that stuff's going to leak out, and then they're going to discover all our work, and they'll say, well, golly, you guys have been talking about it for 20, 30 years. How come we didn't know about it? And Don is saying, since you are the anomaly expert, and I'm not, let me underscore that, I am not an anomaly expert. I'm an anomaly hunter. And maybe just through time and practice and thousands of hours of eyes on, I can see things quicker than some people, but I'm a long ways from considering myself an anomaly expert. But he says, I'm dying to hear what you have to say. Did you ever take a look at that screen grab I got from Google Earth on one of the little islands off of Antarctica? Don, I took a quick look at it. It's in the production line. I am going to take a very thorough look at it at high mag, and if I find things that I can render in 3D, part of the holdup on that is I need to find the time to learn how to do 3D with Google Earth. There's a way to do it, and but I just, between this channel and the new feature I'm doing, which is Marvin Moments, which coming up midnight tonight, the very first episode with Neil Spence, and with the other work that I'm doing during the week, my study courses and such. I've got so little time, but trust me, Don, I'm into it, and I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to give it a good, thorough going over. So be patient with me, brother. You are in the line. Let me see what else everybody's saying here. Yeah, Ricardo's saying the parachute pattern looks suspiciously like a crop circle pattern. Let me find that. Where'd it go? There it is. He says it looks suspiciously like a crop circle pattern that turned up a few years back in Somerset. Hey, Somerset in the UK. All of my ancestors are for Somerset. Charlton Mackrell, Somerset, going back to 1208. But we came over here long time ago with the first people. And let me see. Yeah, just catching up with all your remarks while I'm just jabbering on. But so I miss a lot of this stuff, and I have to catch up with you. And you're welcome to World's Doctor. And Doc Chuck is saying, absolutely understand what you're saying, and I'm sure the medical doctor here will agree. It's like looking at x-rays. Someone is not trained can't see what trained people are able to see. It's a question of time and experience and a certain amount of training. I came into it, let me get rid of this picture now, because I just can't stand not to see my beautiful face, at least part of the time. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's true. I came into it with my eyes already trained to 3D, to aerial surveillance, to photogrammetry, surveillance, that type of surveillance, archaeology, that type of thing. All amateur except for the 3D work. But, you know, I had years and years and years of training with that. So I came in with a little bit of an advantage. I started seeing stuff right away, and I couldn't understand why people didn't see what I saw. And then it finally dawned on me is that, well, they don't see what I see because they don't have the background I have. Not that I'm better, I'm just different. And so I thought to myself, how can I show this to people in a way that they see it too? I thought, well, it's going to be in 3D and it's going to be non-fractal. So if you're a regular on the channel, you know that the majority of my finds are non-fractal. I put in some other stuff now and then too, only because it's really interesting and I think you should have a look at it. Thanks, Crazy. A hunter with good results. Oh, let me tell you about that, brother. Back in the day when I was in high school living in Iowa, my buddy and I would go out and in the fall, and this is back when beer cans and pop cans had those pull-top rings, and we would go out and throw those rings out in the grass in the cemetery near us, and we'd practice thousands of shots with our bow and arrows until we could put an arrow through one of those rings consistently. It's just a matter of practice, really. And then we would go out hunting pheasant with bow and arrow. We'd use what are called flu arrows that have big puffy feathers on the back so they don't travel under the grass if you miss. But we'd hit right where the neck joins the body and snap the neck, and they just drop like a stone, and go get our arrow and go get our pheasant and on our way. And the parachute is binary code. That's interesting. I wonder if there's anybody who can translate that binary code. Huh. Oh, that's nice of you, Crazy A. Yeah, you know, if you mash that thumbs up button, that sure helps me a lot. You know, I'm not getting paid for any of this stuff. I do have patrons coming on board and PayPal people. I am so grateful to you. And believe me, every cent of that money goes towards hopefully one day getting the equipment I need to come out and do this show live in person. And of course, it won't be X3D at that point. It'll be like an IMAX theater. You'll have glasses to wear, and you'll see the whole show in glorious jump in your lap 3D. And let's see what else we got. Phil Cox says dare mighty things. You're not serious, right? You're not serious. You found the parachute code answer online, Ricardo? Seriously? And does it really say dare mighty things? I mean, that's pretty cool. If the engineers were hip enough to do that, and they are hip enough for sure. Decoded parachute. Huh. Phil Cox says it also has a GPS location of JPL. Man, you guys are amazing. I don't know how you found out all that stuff. Boy, I don't know how Chris keeps up with all his comments. Maybe there's a way to pause the comment stream. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. And I'm just barely catching up with you on your comments here. And you go to Chris's live streams and the comments are like a river and flood going by. Oh, okay, NASA had a show, says Lee. with an answer for the parachute. Oh, that's very cool. Wow. Amazing stuff you guys know. I'm so impressed. So I should probably have dug up some more pictures to show you, but that's all I had that were flat. And I suppose I could pull up some of the 3Ds, but I kind of have to have them ready here because I'll be puzzling around too long to be off camera too long. I'm going to pull this down a little bit so you don't see the craters of the moon. And not that I'm not shy about that or vain. It's just that it looks real nasty, and I don't want to put anybody off. Yeah, it does. Everything goes by in a flick. Click on the comments area and scroll up. Okay. Doesn't work. It probably works on YouTube. But I'm not actually on the channel itself. I'm watching, when I'm speaking into the streaming software, and there's about a 10 or 15 second delay on when it gets to YouTube. That does get a little confusing. I'm sure other people can handle it with no problem. Yeah, Ricardo, that's a good idea. You pop out the chat to a new window on a second monitor. I'm just trying to figure where I could put a second monitor here. I've got kind of a small table here, and my equipment fills it up real good. And Lee says, I got to dig something up for you, huh? Oh, man. Hey, Ramona. Thanks for stopping in. I'm glad you're here. It doesn't matter that you missed the intro. You're here now. And pauses the chat screen. You can control the comments, Dave. Look for 3 dots. Look for 3 dots. Okay, I'm going to hit pop out chat. Well, it pops it out, but it doesn't pause it. So I'm going to kill that and come on back. We learn by doing. Yeah, the 3 dots don't really control it. What I need to do is run a second monitor and have the YouTube comments up on there, and I should be able to keep up with them in that case. I just ordered on the, I think Indiegogo, they have a center camera that goes smack in the center of your screen with a ring light. And that'd be a lot easier to use because I have to, in order to look at you, I have to not look at the screen. I have to look directly into the camera, which is in a weird position. I don't mind doing that, but it's going to be easier when that little camera arrives. And Tim Pool's channel. I don't know what Tim Pool is. What is a Tim Pool? And yeah, thank you, John. He says, great job. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I am using OBS. Now, I've heard of another one called Melon that's supposed to be even more user-friendly and really easy to use and even has more features. I suspect OBS has a ton of features that I'm not using. I'm just not hip enough to know them just yet. But you know, it took me hanging from the ceiling. So I says, okay, yeah, that would get in the way of my trapeze, brother. And that's as far as I'm going with that, okay? Don't ask any more questions. And yeah, Doc Chuck, under every video now is a link to Patreon. And it's Patreon/MarsX3D, the evidence, I believe. Anyway, the link is under every video if you care to be a part of that. And, you know, I don't want to be a huckster for money, anything like that. You know, I get by fine, and if I never make enough money to, you know, get the equipment, then hey, you know, I can at least pay for the expenses that are involved with this thing. But actually, I'm saving the money for equipment. But yeah, you know, if you feel led to support this work, if you like it, and you know what, I'm perfectly happy if you can do $1 a month or whatever works for you, or nothing at all. That's okay too. I won't love you any less. Okay, and I am working rather peripatetically on a merchandise line for the channel. And of course, anyone who's supporting the channel on Patreon or PayPal will receive deep, deep discounts on all the goodies. So look for that to happen probably late spring, early summer. And I'll try to come up with some really, really good stuff. And let me see, stack a monitor above your current one, rested on a platform wall. Well, yeah, Don, that doesn't work for me. I'm sitting right in front of a window, and my monitor won't accept a stack. It's a iMac 27 on a hinge, so that doesn't work. I'll figure out a way though, and yeah, you could do the tablet. My tablet is an Android, and I just use it for music downstairs. I'm out of love with Androids now. Well, and Ramona's asking, why are there so many sunspots on the sun nowadays? And well, it's just part of the regular cycle. There are a lot of storms going on. We are entering a new area of space that ostensibly has a much higher energy and much different lines of magnetic flux. I don't know how much of that is true or not, but you know, the sunspots, they come and they go. And you can go on the Solar Observatory on NASA and you can see all of that stuff. Oh, 7 people hit the thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And Doc Chuck, I sponsor him monthly on it, Julia says. And Julia is also a very welcome and generous sponsor for this channel. Thank you again, Julia. I surely appreciate it. And you know, I know that life happens. If you decide you want to contribute to the channel, hey, that's fantastic. But don't feel bad if circumstances mean that you have to duck out after a while. I get it. Life happens. It's all good. Love you anyway. It's Shandy. Shandy. The sun is coming out of solar minimum. Yep, exactly right, Crazy A. You nailed that one. And yeah, you know, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up button. We also are coming into, besides the sun's 11-year cycle, it's the 17th year for the cicadas. We're going to have an absolute flood of cicadas this summer. See what else we got. Yeah, the sun wakes up and all they are is, they're not really holes. They're just areas of lower temperature in the sun's photosphere. And we perceive them as being dark or black because of their lesser intensity of light. The photosphere is so bright that anything less than what the photosphere has is going to appear as dark. But if you were able to isolate those holes all by themselves, you probably couldn't even look into them. They're that bright. So, and they're not really holes. They're just areas of lower temperature. And okay, yeah, and Julia, you're absolutely right. The second you take 1 penny, you have to be absolutely honest, or you can be hammered for fraud. Don't I know it? I ran an LLC for a number of years, also been involved with nonprofits, and you do have to be really careful with that. And you know, my saying that I give an honest accounting doesn't, you know, why should you trust me? But I got to look myself in the mirror every morning. And so I have a certain code of ethics that I adhere to in my life and on and offline. Doc Chuck, totally worth it. I'll have to check you out, Doc Chuck. Send me a link, man, or the name of your channel or whatever it might be. Ricardo. Yeah, I know why. The spelling. I know why the spelling's happening that way. You're eating gummy bears. Your fingers are sticking to the keys. Yeah, the galactic current sheet emanates from the center of the Milky Way. Sounds like, Doc Chuck, you're familiar with Dr. Paul LaViolette's work on the solar wave, or rather the galactic wave, that we're due to be hit with here pretty quick, if we're not already in it. It's, who knows what's going to happen. It was the worst tequila they made. They have so many tequilas down there that are just fabulous. And there was one that wasn't available in the States at the time, but it is now, called Herradura, Silver Horseshoe. Man, that is the best tequila I've ever tasted. But we're not going to go into that right now. My oldest son is going on a fishing trip up in Hot Springs day after tomorrow. They're taking a good supply of Knob Creek bourbon with them, and when he comes to visit at our summer house up in Bar Harbor, we knock back more than a couple bottles of that stuff, just talking and sipping. Boy, is that good stuff. Doc Chuck, you're right. Geomagnetic energy from the corona holes. And it can affect the human physiology. Yes, it is. You think the galactic wave got us? I wonder, Don, because people are so friggin' crazy nowadays. What is happening with people? I mean, seriously. People are just crazy. They're just absolutely crazy. And Phil Cox says everything just stopped. So, let's look at the stream health, and it says excellent. And it's good. So maybe that'll come back for you, Phil. I sure hope it does. And you lost Dave. Oh, heavens. Where did Dave go? It says the stream is good. Of course, you're about 15 seconds out from me. But, yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, about 3 minutes ago it says no data. For some reason, there was a problem with the data stream. I don't know why. Let me know when I'm back. I hope I'm back by now. And anyway, I've got, I'm using the Jetpack tonight, a data feed, high-speed data feed, so that shouldn't be happening. But, yeah, you know YouTube. We're not going to go there. Yeah, let's see what else we got here. Yep. Yep, Alfie Joe. Good old YouTube strikes again. Problems with them. Not with me. My data stream is honking fast. And Ricardo's on beer. You wuss. You gave up on the tequila? Oh, man. And yeah, Bar Harbor is fantastic. And Redline is here. How you doing, brother? Thank you for stopping by. And I'm just trying to catch up with some of these things. I wish I had better eyesight so I could see all this stuff from far away. There I am. I came back. Okay. Yeah, server issue. There was a gap. Oh, well. I might piddle around with that Melon streaming software, and if I can get it to work, I'll see if I can't try that maybe next week or week after and see if it's maybe any better than OBS, although OBS is pretty good as far as I understand it. Okay, Kamikaze Anger Patriot says, I see, okay, I have to leave out and close it out and come back in. Ooh, your image was freezing up like reloading a few minutes ago. And I need a restart. Well, okay, let me know if it's still stuck. I'm watching the monitor now, and my stream health is excellent. So there shouldn't be any problems with any of that. Yeah, it's YouTube. Martin Penright. I thought you'd been abducted, Dave. You're loud and clear now. Thank you, sir. We'll go into abductions sometime. I have a lot of information about that. And Six says, oh, yeah, Six, having a good buzz on happening. So, where are you living, Six, that it's legal? I'm living in Massachusetts, and it's legal as all get out here. Not that I even know what that stuff is. I've never done it. Can lightning get in here? And, oh. Yeah, you want to know anything about Antarctica? Go check out Julia and sarahmichelle.org. And still a no-no in the UK. Yeah, sorry about that, Phil. What a world, huh? Kamikaze Angry Patriot said wearing a black hat reminded him of Jacques Cousteau. Well, what a fine man he was. There was a story once, I don't know if you know this one. Philippe, his son, Philippe Cousteau, was scuba diving. And where was it? I think it was in the Bahamas. And he was swimming down kind of a canyon in the reef. And he came into a wide open circular area. And there was a group of dolphins in there, in a circle, sitting on their tails. And he said when he entered there, he felt like he had just intruded on something sacred. But more importantly, all of those dolphins turned and looked at him. And while they weren't overtly threatening, he got the very clear impression that he did not belong, and he turned around and left right away. And so my black hat, Kamikaze, as I explained a little earlier, I'm undergoing some treatment for some skin issues, and my head looks like the craters on the moon. It looks pretty nasty. And my wife is going to put makeup on me, and I wanted her to start with a lipstick, but she refused. And, you know, it felt like she was pounding ice picks into my brain. It was like, no. I don't think that's going to work. And Ramona's asking, how do you feel about the recent Mars pics? I'm not impressed yet, Ramona, but I want to give them time to get their act together, get all the cameras calibrated, get the download, the downlinks working the way they should. So far, I haven't seen anything that blows my mind in terms of clarity or high resolution. But I am sure looking for an improvement, especially with the Z cams, the mass cams. It would be delightful to have high-res color stereo images from them. And yeah, I'm fine. Okay. Yeah, and Kamikaze is saying it was YouTube. Good. And Julia, no, I don't mind links. No. It's real fine. And 6, it's cool, man. Don't want to harsh your mellow. Enjoy it. Enjoy the float. It's all part of being one with now. And, hey, double-edged sword. Welcome aboard, sir. 27 likes. Wow. I almost feel like a grown-up. How about that? Kamikaze said he's growing a string called Star Dog, but I think I'm going to change it to Super Dave. Yeah. Just call it Red Planet Dave. I don't know. I would want to personally endorse that for you, and we'd have to try it. But anyway, we're not going to talk a whole lot about that. But I know Kentucky's always been a big state for the cannabis. Wow. Kamikaze says scuba diving by the Cousteaus in the Great Lakes and found bases down there. I was not aware of that. I'd be interested to see what the documentation is on that. So Illinois is legal. Hard to believe, but there it is. Well, I used to live in Davenport, right on the Mississippi, so I can imagine the cross-river traffic from Iowa is phenomenal nowadays. Coming from Iowa to, Don says my video buffered for about 5 minutes ago. Galactic Wave. Yeah, and apparently it's YouTube routing because I've got a wicked fast feed on my end. And that actually is what fixed the problems. Initially, we were having problems with it dropping out and freezing. And so this high-speed internet connection really took care of that. And yeah, we'll get high-res pics, I hope, eventually. Yeah, Kamikaze says, yeah, he has the same thing going on. Well, I hope it's not quite the same thing, and not to be melodramatic or anything, but it's incipient melanoma, skin cancer, and I'm fine, perfectly okay. Caught it in plenty of time, but I'm just going through a process where they burn off the skin on my head and get down to the affected area and then let the skin grow back, and that takes care of it. So I've got another week or so of looking like a pizza, and I thought I'd spare you the trauma of having to look at that. 27 thumbs up. Gosh, I'm a big shot. Yeah, I know there's a lot of junk in the food. I eat a very, very natural diet. I do a lot of turmeric, a lot of turmeric. And I do a lot of supplements too. It's taken me the last 15 years to find the supplements that work for me. And by golly, they do work. But I've gone through hundreds of supplements and brands and manufacturers and finding stuff that actually works for me. Everybody's biochemistry is different. You know, what works for me might be a hockey puck for you. We don't know. But let me see if I can't catch up. And Glasgow, Kentucky. Yeah. I love Kentucky. My wife is from Somerset, Kentucky. And my second wife was from Kentucky. My third wife was from Alabama. But I remarried my first wife from 50 years ago, and we're very, very happy. She's a wonderful woman, and we both grew into people we could tolerate. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, 6 says Davenport along the Mississippi. You're about 2 miles from it. Oh, how cool, 6. I used to ride my bike all over the Illinois side, up to Savannah, have you ever eaten at Poopy's up in Savannah? There's some killer burgers there. A great biker bar, biker hang. And, so many beautiful places to explore in Illinois and Iowa, and I do miss that. It's a beautiful part of the country. Mining on Mars. Jeffrey Watterson. Hi, Jeffrey. And, yeah, who knows? That's probably true. 6 is on the Illinois side of the Mississippi River. And, going into a few discussions of the various strains of herbal substances. And Ohio River for Ramona. I used to travel to Ohio. I was on the Mississippi Queen and went up to Ohio and the Tennessee and the Mississippi. Good times. Boy, I loved working on the riverboats. That was wonderful. And let's see how we're doing. We got about 5 or 6 minutes left. And 6, thank you. Yeah, my medical issues are fine. I'm like ridiculously healthy. My blood work, everything for me is like off the charts. It's like I'm 35 years old physically, other than this little issue with the head. And that's being taken care of as we speak. So it's all good. Not a problem. Yeah, they're going to figure out how to do the methane, how to extract the methane and the LOX, the liquid oxygen, on Mars. And we'll be able to return. Very cool. Yeah, a lot of beautiful state parks along the Mississippi. And that upper Mississippi up above Savannah is just gorgeous. Man, what a pretty part of the river. Uh, the People's Chemist. Okay, the People's Chemist. I'll check him out when I remember to do that. I didn't see the city at the bottom of the river basin, Kamikaze. Yeah, I imagine they did divert it. They didn't want to go smack in the middle of the ruins, but there's stuff there. Doc Chuck's in Louisville. Oh, Doc Chuck. My second wife is from Louisville. No stories about her. So long ago, I hardly just even remember it. And Jezreel Crater. John Deere. Yep. I've played at the John Deere Pavilion many a time. Beautiful facility. Okay. Yeah, he says, Kamikaze says, yeah, I know I have lucky patches of melanoma all over my head. I've had to shave my head and get spots lasered. Now I have scars all over my head, and plus I have real bad plaque psoriasis from the treatment. Oh, okay, I gotcha. I'm sorry to hear that, man. That's but when I examine the alternatives at my age, I think I'm pretty lucky. And as you get older, there's certain things that come with the territory. Can't get around it. And yeah, Ramona, I know. Hearing the barges and hearing the river traffic and the smells and the wildlife, that's all stuff that I miss too. Man. Okay, 6 minute man. Okay, we're wrapping it up here in just a few minutes. Folks, I want to try to keep these down to about an hour and 15 if possible. Unless we get into some really deep discussions, because most people aren't going to watch that. In my experience, I don't have an hour and 15 minutes to go watch something with my schedule. And some people do. I know Chris has people that'll hang for 3 hours plus, and God bless them. But I want to keep it short and sweet, so to speak, and leave them wanting more. That's the old line from show business. Well, AKA man, I'm sure glad that you're here. I was going to check in on Chris's live hang last Friday night, and I had it in my mind that he started on 7:30. At 7:30, and I didn't get back free until 8 o'clock, so I figured, I only missed a bit, and I tuned in, and it was literally the last 30 seconds of his live feed. So I missed it again. But okay, if you look at the top of the left-hand side of the bluff, yeah. Yeah. Phil Cox, that sounds pretty interesting. I want to see your channel. Send me your channel link, will you? Any of you got a channel you want me to look at, send me a link. Email's in the description below, or should be. I'll try to remember to go back and put it in there. MarsX3D at gmail.com. And Crazy A, thanks for stopping by. And after midnight in the UK, God bless you for staying up so late. And Alfie Joe, thanks for stopping by. Martin Penwright, that's very nice of you, Martin, that you could listen to me all night. It's funny, folks, but I don't talk that much. I'm actually a very silent person, And because part of the reason is I spent my life in crowds, doing shows and entertaining and, that type of thing. And I like being silent. So this is the most I've talked in a long time. I wish I had the gift of gab like Chris Maroney does. That fella can just talk and talk and talk. He's fantastic. Yeah, folks, I have real definite opinions about the vaccinations, which I will not share on this channel because it'll shut us down. Julia, thank you for stopping by, and thank you for all your hard work too. I know all the hard stuff that you're doing. Great. John, thanks for stopping by. See you next week, my friend. And okay, Phil. Okay, it's still better if you send me a link because I don't know if I'll remember, to tell you the truth. Oh, thank you, Doc Chuck. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks you for your kind words. And Julia says, I've got the best narration voice ever. Well, when I'm narrating, usually my voice is in better shape than it is now, and I'm very, very relaxed when I narrate because I want that feeling of calmness and relaxation to permeate the entire experience. And also I don't want to Six, you're welcome. Thank you for all your great work. It's my pleasure, literally my pleasure. I want it to be a nice experience for you, a relaxed time where you can kind of get away from the world, literally, and go to the surface of Mars in 3D. Instead of me being harsh and shrill or demanding this is that, this is a wagon with a dog in it or stuff like that. I'll speculate all day long. This is what I think it is. This is what it looks like. It might be this. Well, it might not be. It might be geology. I don't know. But y'all are grown-ups. You can look at it in 3D and make up your own mind. If you think something's good there, maybe you'll come back. Maybe even give it a thumbs up. And if not, you won't be back. So let's see. Okay, folks. John Hauser, thank you, sir. And we're going to sign off in literally just about a minute. Putting the kids to bed, Doc Chuck, a family man. God love you, man. Thank you for stopping in. And had a good time. You know what? I sure do appreciate every one of you. Thank you for coming along and not leaving me all by myself talking to the wall. I'm just so grateful that you choose to spend a little time with me. Remember, tonight at midnight, the first episode of Marvin Moments will be airing with Neil Spence, our new feature. I hope to do it occasionally. And the next one slated up is going to be one and only Neville Thompson, Nev T. An amazing man, just as Neil is. So I hope you take that in. New episode, MarsX3D, coming up Friday at midnight. And got some real interesting stuff in this one, too. I think you'll like it. So, one and all, be well wherever you are. And this is your buddy Dave over at MarsX3D.